just kind of go live right now and just share something that's been on my mind lately when it comes to people using their voice and becoming a voice for animals. So I wasn't planning on doing a live stream today or really anything on camera, but I've just been thinking a lot about what it takes to create social change and to make this movement grow. And I think one of the things that I've gotten kind of caught up in a lot in the past is this idea of the definition of veganism and getting really nitpicky about, like, is it a rights movement? Is it a movement where we're just fighting speciesism? Is it a movement where we apply rights equally, or do we apply rights differently to different creatures? And hey, Lewis, great to see you. Lewis says granular. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe Lewis means the video quality is bad. Could be because I'm kind of in a nature area. But yeah, I just basically just wanted to kind of do a little hangout here as I walk through. I apologize for the video probably being kind of shaky, as I literally didn't. Oh, I see, Lewis. Yeah, I didn't plan for any particular topic, but I guess wanted to encourage you guys to just use your voice in any way that you can when it comes to advocating for animals. There's nobody who can fault you for wanting to defend innocent beings, and you never know the impact that some action that you take might have on others. Hey Tessa, great to see you. So that's really the main thing that I just wanted to kind of bring forth to you guys today, that be proud to be an activist and just try to do something every day as much as you can to be a voice for those who can't defend themselves. I think a lot of times we get kind of, we feel like pressure that we put on ourselves about what we need to do, how we need to advocate these words that we need to use, whether we need to tell people that they're animal abusers or animal exploiters, or all sorts of things. By the way, look at these rabbits here. There's some rabbits hopping around here. This is like a really nice nature area here. I don't know if you can see these little guys here. I've been taking a ton of pictures. So I just want to encourage you guys. You never know who your words might impact, who you might be able to inspire through your words. Like, look at these little rabbits. Like, people actually eat rabbits. Can you believe it? They just want to play. They just want to run around, hop around. And think about the familiarity that you have with some animals, and think about how some animals, like there's a chipmunk here. I hardly ever see chipmunks, and the whole animal kingdom is counting on us to be a force for them in one way or another. Yeah, there's so many cute little animals around here. Like, I've taken so many pictures I can't even count at this point. Chipmunks, starlings, squirrels, robins, sparrows, these little smaller birds too that kind of look like sparrows, rabbits, all sorts of animals. And I live in a much more urban kind of environment where I don't get to be out in nature that much. So this is really nice for me to take some time on a Sunday to do this. Yeah, I don't want to kind of belabor the point here, and wasn't planning on being here too long. Yeah, Lewis, that chipmunk did come up to me. I really have never gotten a chance to hang out with chipmunks that much, but they've just been all over this place today, which has been really cool. So yeah, I guess I wanted to kind of to be here to be open. If anybody has any questions, like, I know that sometimes during the streams I'm more just like out talking to people and kind of in that mode where I'm more activated, so to speak. So I kind of wanted to give the opportunity to do a little like kind of hangout type here, and then hangout type thing, I guess, and then also show you guys kind of the environment around me. It's really nice, and just kind of wanted to be able to bring that to you guys as well. Um, but yeah, I've been thinking about kind of different ways that I can also try to reach people more through my channel. I really enjoy doing outreach. I don't know if it's kind of like the ultimate evolution of my activism. Um, but also, I also wanted to talk about this book that I've been reading. It's called Zoopolis, and it's called. Oh, let me flip my camera real quick here. There's this rabbit here. It's so cute. Let me see if I can zoom. I don't know if you guys can see that little guy. Hello. Oh, he waved. Kind of waved, lifted an arm. So, anyway, um, yeah, Lewis, it's like this, it's like a bird sanctuary, basically, kind of thing. Oh, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Okay. Um, a hare. Yeah, eat pears, not hares. He keeps kind of running away, and then kind of like he's a pretty big rabbit too. I'm trying not to scare him, but he is kind of right in my way in the sidewalk, or in the path. He kind of runs away, and then um, like hightails it away, and then kind of runs back. Let me see if I can get by him. Whoop! Don't be scared. Okay. All right. See you, buddy. So now that I realize that I can flip my camera so dynamically, maybe I'll show you guys some more animals around here. Um, but yeah, my point here regarding that book that I've been reading is just, I guess it's not even a point. It's more just a topic. Lewis says, "Is there a stream?" There is some kind of water flowing somewhere, but I don't think it's like officially a stream. But there's a body of water somewhere. Um, but to my right, it's just more foresty, kind of foresty. So this is kind of like the Illinois natural landscape, I guess. I don't know if you'd call it a prairie exactly, but it's kind of like, grasses, some wildflowers, relatively flat. Lots of small animals, but no real large animals. I'm still zoomed in. No, I guess not. That's just my big head. Um, but yeah, this book that I'm reading, it's called Zoopolis, and I think it's the subtitle something like a political theory of animal rights. And this book is actually promoting this idea that different animals have kind of like a different. I guess let me put it this way: that we have like a different obligation to different animals based on our our relationships with them. So there's kind of this idea within the book that, like, let's say like dogs and cats maybe would be one category, or even like maybe cows might be included in that category as animals who. I hear a cardinal. Oh, I see a beautiful male cardinal. Let me see if I can. There he is. Whoop, there he goes. You hear that? All right. So, but anyway, like, there's animals in different categories that are presented in this book, like, animals that are domesticated, animals that are free roaming, so to speak, like so-called wild animals, and then animals that are kind of like in a liminal space, like not exactly fully wild, not exactly domesticated either. Now I've just been thinking about this concept, and I'm wondering if anybody has any thoughts on this idea of like um, whether we can reconceptualize the idea of animal rights such that we're not kind of presenting something to people that seems impossible when we talk about animal rights, that we're not giving people this idea that all animals necessarily need to be treated a certain way. And what I mean by that is, like, if we refer to negative rights when it comes to other animals, that can potentially implicate like prey animals, for example, in a forest. Um, and based on this reading that I've been doing in this book, Zoopolis, I'm kind of thinking about it like, hey Jake, great to see you. if it might be better to think about animal rights in a sense, not where we're thinking about like negative rights, but also positive rights. Um, so like, I guess different, um, so I don't want to say social services, but kind of like different treatment that other animals are maybe entitled to just by virtue of our, our relationships with them. I don't know if this exactly makes sense, but it's just an idea that I've been thinking about because um, I think that this is one of the reasons why welfareism is so popular. Not just because it allows people to keep using animals and, kind of um, gives them this idea that it's possible to use animals in a more friendly way. Hey, Kimmy Cat, great to see you here. But I think that welfareism actually resonates with people because it builds in the idea of treatment of animals. And I think that the animal rights concept of negative rights and just like basically leaving animals alone, etc., kind of um, maybe doesn't resonate with the public at large because it doesn't really clarify our relationship to animals. Um, who I guess maybe depend on us and who are maybe kind of like at our mercy. For example, um, dogs and cats, for example. Um, and in fact, when we talk about dogs and cats, we actually run into this issue where in many ways we are actually vegans at large, I think, are fine with violating what I would consider the negative rights of dogs and cats, like for sterilization, things like that. So, I'm not here saying that we ought not to sterilize dogs and cats. I mean, I am conflicted about it, but I do think that um, it poses an issue because these are the animals who are most salient in our day-to-day lives, like the most present, the most obvious cases of human and non-human interaction, but we apply a different standard to them than we apply to the animals for whom we're usually advocating, like for food purposes. So I think that it's important that we kind of clarify not exactly what veganism means, but what we're fighting for, and to be able to make our case in a way where we're not tripping ourselves up in different arguments, where we're like kind of referring to something that we're not able to apply consistently. And I think that this is important in terms of the reach of veganism. And I think that there's some real wet ground that we can break here because, like I said, people care about animals. People don't want to see animals be hurt on the whole. Um, but I think when we talk about abolitionism only from the perspective of negative rights, there's something that we really miss when it comes to the animals' relationships with us, right? I think if we just say we just need to leave them alone, I think that addresses a big part of it, but it doesn't bring it, here and now to the realities of our relationships with those animals. So just something to think about. Um, I'm always trying to think of better ways that, we can show people that they actually do believe in veganism. And I think that um, talking to people about nonviolence, I think is very, very important. But I think we also need to try talking to people about the ideas of stewardship and kind of like talk about what that means in terms of like the things that we can do for animals who are at our mercy, under our care, and who we have brought into the world. Kimmy Cat says it's because animals are running in the roads is far too inconvenient for people, and I hate that. This is what also panic society. I was stuck behind cows. If I was stuck behind cows for hours, I wouldn't care. Yeah, yeah, and I think one thing that this book Zoopolis has kind of helped me to think about more is the idea of like living, relative to animal societies. This book also brings up this point about how it might be a frightening concept to humans to think about, like, if there was a group of humans who we kind of like subjugated or had under our control, it could actually be kind of like scary for the powers that be to leave these humans to their own devices because of the fact that humans share power. Like we share we share power among each other. But um, I believe this book was espousing that non-human animals basically wouldn't pose a danger to humans if they were basically liberated or left to their own devices, because sorry, I just hit my head. They don't share power in the same way that humans do. Like, they would just kind of like form their own societies. Man, I hope I'm not bleeding. That was kind of a tough one. um, that's not embarrassing or anything. So yeah, that's kind of just the little thought bubble that I wanted to put in people's minds. You know, be active for animals any way you can, and don't be afraid to kind of stretch your imagination a little bit in terms of how you do your activism. If you feel compelled to speak in a way where you are talking about negative rights and leaving animals alone and that kind of thing, do so, of course. But if you feel compelled to talk about maybe positive rights and obligations that we have toward animals in our day-to-day lives, and then how we can maybe extend those positive obligations to others in a way that doesn't violate the negative rights of other animals. I know it's a tall order, but just something that I wanted to kind of riff on a little bit, and see if maybe it helps someone else to start kind of percolating some different ideas about other animals, and how we can be stewards for them without boxing ourselves in with specific terms or definitions. So that's kind of all I got for you guys today, actually. I'll go ahead and wrap it up in a minute, but if anybody does have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat here. But I don't know if my rambling made sense to anybody. I think my main idea here is just to kind of talk about like this squirrel, for example. If the squirrel were to have become trapped, I would see it as like an obligation, like for city services or whatever, to free that animal from, like if that squirrel fell into like a gutter or something like that and was like, calling out like, help me, help me. I would see that as like a right that squirrel would have. I think that squirrel would be entitled to being helped. I shared, I believe it was on a stream, or no, yeah, it was during a stream when I was doing outreach. But I was actually involved with this pigeon. There was a situation where I saw a pigeon in a bridge tower, and this pigeon had somehow gotten into the tower. I could see the pigeon through the glass of the tower, and the pigeon wasn't able to get out. And it was like super hot, like up to the mid 80s on those days, and that pigeon was just perched inside of that tower. And just basically, like, over the course of 2 days, I just watched that pigeon just stay trapped in there. I tried literally everything I could. I contacted a whole bunch of different entities. Some people didn't seem like they cared to help at all. Some people discouraged me. Some people were very willing to help and wishing that they could help. But it all came down to the fact that there was a padlock on the door. And only one department, to my knowledge, had the key to it. I tried filing different reports about it, etc., but to my knowledge, they were just closed. And as far as I know, nobody actually saved that bird. And I named that bird River, and I wrote a song for him or her, which I will be releasing at some point in the future. I do have a whole backlog of my solo project music. So I will be hopefully making soon, called Haas Music, most likely, and releasing a bunch of music on there over the rest of the year and beyond, maybe the rest of my life. But yeah, like that bird River, I still think about him or her all the time, and I just wish that there were some, I guess, societal apparatuses to also protect animals and to give them the value, show them dignified treatment, even if they're not human. If that animal was a dog, or a cat trapped in there, you can bet that people would have been taking that issue more seriously. Um, so, so this is something that I think we need to think about, not just negative rights, but positive rights. Um, Lewis had asked positive rights such as the right to self-determination. Yeah, I think you could definitely say that that's part of it, without knowing exactly what you mean by self-determination. But maybe self-determination is better thought of in a broad sense. Austin Bennett says, "I like beef. Can I still be vegan?" Yes, you can. Um, so liking something, doesn't disqualify you from not purchasing or consuming it. So Austin, if you're still here, yes, a lot of people still enjoy the taste of animal flesh, things like that, but just abstain from purchasing those products. So yeah, you can definitely still like it and still be vegan. UK Freedom Fighter says, "I've had the same experience many years ago. We released many trap birds." That's amazing. Thank you for doing that. Um, Lewis says, "I disagree with that sort of right, Haas. I see that as a virtue rather than obligation. This coming from me who's rescued 100 animals or more." Yeah, Lewis, I don't disagree with you. I do think that's virtue. I think and you bring up a great point. When we talk about negative rights, maybe it's best to think of them in terms of like the obligation, like leave animals alone as a basis, and then um, talk about positive rights in terms of virtues. I'm in no way trying to like define or redefine the notion of leaving animals alone being like an inherent critical part of animal rights, um, but yeah, I think that it would be good if we tried to kind of talk about positive rights in some way as well. Um, because we've put a lot of animals in certain situations by virtue of our existence, and they're intricately connected to our day-to-day lives as well. um, UK Freedom Fighter says, "Do you eat pork, dead pigs?" No, I've actually never eaten pig in my life. um, so yeah, it does seem kind of weird to me, and the smell of it, I absolutely cannot stand the smell of it. It's absolutely nauseating to me. Um, yeah, it's terrible. If I walk into like a breakfast place and they're cooking pigs, I just get absolutely nauseated from the smell. And I think the smell of it is actually pretty toxic as well. Like there are a lot of carcinogenic or cancer-causing compounds from studies I've seen that are released when pig flesh is cooked. Um, Kim Cat says, "Kush, I think, is bird. Bukush, can't remember. My Turkish is getting old." Yeah, kush is bird. Exactly. Hey, Gray Sky Vegan, good to see you. Um, and Lewis says, "Rights are actually more like obligations. That's why I disagree with a right obligation to help any and all animals." Yeah, I mean, Lewis, I agree. Um, I think Peter Singer actually had this hypothetical about like, I don't want to misquote it, but something about like there's like a shallow pond and there's like babies drowning or something, and you can save them quite easily, and like kind of for how long or how whatever, like I think it was something like if you save one and then like your new shoes get dirty, then is it still like worth doing? And then um, kind of goes, he kind of like, I guess, raises the stakes each time, or something like that. Again, I don't want to misquote it, so just take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't think helping is necessarily as obligational as not hurting. I believe there was a quote from Gandhi where he said something like, and I realize Gandhi wasn't a perfect person, no one is, so I'm not like putting Gandhi on a pedestal, but I think there was a quote, something like, if you can help, then help, but if you can't help, at least don't hurt or harm. Um, so yeah, I think we both see it kind of the same. I'm just riffing off these ideas of positive rights, just based off kind of this book that I'm reading, Zoopolis. But yeah, if anybody has read it and wants to share some thoughts with me, you can definitely email me about it, or leave a comment about it. My email's on my page, but it's just hosvegan@gmail.com. Um, and Lewis says, "Oh, there's a chipmunk right in front of me. Look, well, I'm like too zoomed in. Where did he go? Oh, there's one right here too." Sorry, I realized you guys didn't get to see. Here we go. They're speedy little guys. Um, so yeah, Lewis says it shouldn't be a legally enforced right that others must be helped, even in shallow pond. Yeah, as terrible as that sounds, yeah. I mean, since laws are enforced with force, I'm inclined to agree that force shouldn't be used on somebody for not helping. But I do think there's kind of like there's a certain threshold where I think it makes you a terrible person. Like if you can help somebody and don't, in that hypothetical, like if there is the 1 second, this is really cute. Hey buddy. Whoop. You guys are probably just seeing like a flash of light, but this chipmunk is absolutely not afraid of humans at all. We got a little red-winged blackbird here. Yeah, lots of wildlife here. Navia says, "How is Chi-Town?" It's good. It's been it's kind of been rainy lately. It's gonna be rainy. Oh, I hear a cardinal. Um, but yeah, it's nice. It's a nice time of summer. We actually had a really like hot start to summer. Like June was extremely hot. July's been extremely hot. Usually August is like terribly hot, but I don't know if maybe nature just got the heat wave stuff out of the way early. It's actually nice and kind of cloudy, mid 70s today, and as you can see, it's kind of just very, very lush out right now. And I'm pretty close to the city center. I'm maybe just like a 10-minute drive from downtown right now, and it's kind of just really, really naturey, which is kind of cool. Kimmy Cat says, I remember Baykush. Jake says Baykush means owl in Turkish. Yes, Baykush. It's kind of funny. Kush means bird. Baykush means owl. It's kind of like you're saying bye, like to the bird, Baykush. Lewis says, exactly. We should consider helping others, but state forcing is a horrible idea. So it must never be a right that others have. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, I think so too. And even if you think about like. This would literally be like a kangaroo court kind of world if like you had to like give water to a thirsty animal by force of law, that kind of thing. Like it just brings into question what you know, what you don't know, and the burden of proof and litigation, all that stuff would be absolute nuts. It would literally be like literally a kangaroo court kind of world. Alicia says, where are you, Haz? I'm in Chicago. I'm at this place called Montrose Point Bird Sanctuary. So it's like kind of this like sanctuary place for birds, I guess. There's a ton of other creatures here. But yeah, that's kind of, I just wanted to do a little kind of chill walk with you guys. Thanks for bearing with the fact that I'm just holding the phone in my hand. I don't have like a stabilizer with me or a special microphone or anything like that. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and for your questions and for the little, I guess, discussion that I tried my best to facilitate here about negative and positive rights. But yeah, do something for animals today if you can. Use your voice, because we're going to be the ones, as humans who help get animals out of the situation that we've created as humans. So yeah, thanks for being here. And I don't know if I'm even going to publish this video like on my public videos. It's just I just kind of wanted to do a hangout with you guys. I guess I probably will let people kind of hear these ideas. But yeah, thank you guys all for being here. Hope you have an awesome vegan day, and I'll catch you guys some other time soon. I tried street outreach the other day in the morning, and nobody stopped by, so I ended up just talking to you guys on my little soapbox for like half an hour. So I don't think I'm gonna try them quite that early anymore, at least not during the week. But I'll be out there again soon. But in the meantime, yeah, just keep advocating for animals in any way that you can. I know it's easy to lose hope sometimes. There's waves of people going vegan, and then waves of people going ex-vegan, and waves of infighting, and then waves of harmony. And waves of welfarism catching steam, and then abolitionism catching steam, and all this stuff. But ultimately, you know, we're that small group of people who has this radical idea. And if you have, you know, these radical ideas, you are essentially from the future. And you know, we can't wait for the world to catch up. We have to let our ideas at least be known. And that doesn't necessarily mean provoking people or causing social disharmony or discord, but we absolutely have to let our ideas be known. So you know, don't feel hesitant to let your ideas be known. If you believe in being kind to animals, who can fault you for that? Just let people know. Navia says, I prefer waves of kindness. That sounds great. Waves of kindness, it is. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here, and hopefully I'll catch you guys another time. Take care. Have a great vegan day. And yes, Alicia, each person matters. Each person matters. Every single person is vegan for a reason. It makes it that much easier for the next person to go vegan. So keep spreading that kindness, and I'll catch you guys another time. All right, take care.